Today's lesson is going to cover standard form to vertex form. That means that you're going to take an equation that's given to you in standard form and turn it into vertex form. Or you're going to have to go from vertex form back to standard. You need to realize that both of these mean the same parabola. They just look differently. You will find a copy of these notes on page 64 of your journal. Those have already been taped in there. In order to convert a function from standard form to vertex form, you need to know the a value and the vertex. So in this first example, you're going to be given an equation in standard form. Remember, standard sticks out to us because it has x squared and x. Into vertex form, your vertex is seen in this form. It's your h and your k. Your h is the opposite of what you see. The k is exactly the same as what you see. So let's look at example 1. When I look at example 1, I'm looking for the a value and the vertex. So I'm going to write a note to the side. I need to know what a equals, and I need to know what the vertex is. The vertex is the highest or lowest point on my parabola. That's my h, that's my k. Now, look for your a. A is in front of x squared. What is a? I don't see it. Therefore, it's an understood 1. This is where you will always find your a value. If that value happens to be negative, then you write down a negative with that a value. You need to find the vertex. If you need to, you look back at that foldable that you had. It was blue. And it'll tell you exactly how to find the vertex of a standard form quadratic. You do that by taking x equals negative b over 2a. Well, what is your b value? In this case, your b value is negative 8. You plug those numbers in. Negative parentheses negative 8 over 2 parentheses 1, which is a. You work that out. You can type that in your calculator, or you can do it in your head. Negative times a negative is a positive 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now, what is this number that we just got? This 4 is the x value of the vertex. This is the x value of the vertex. That means I found my h. Now, we have to be able to find the y value. If you know a function and you know what x is, you plug in this x value for every x in the function. So we're going to do f of 4. You may be asking yourself, where did she get 4? I got 4 because if you trace this back, that's what x equals. That's the x coordinate of my vertex. So I have to plug in 4 if I'm going to find out that y value. I left the parentheses blank for each of my x's. X equals 4. I'm going to plug that in. Now when I work this out, I can type this in my calculator, that's fine. Or I can do step by step by step following my order of operations. So let me type this in the calculator just to make sure that you see how to do this. I'll try to get both of these on there where you can see. You have parentheses 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 13. Hit enter. Oh no, I noticed I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? I forgot to put my square. So I can go back in here. I'm going to enter. I'm going to do second insert. I'm going to square. That looks like my equation. Hit enter. Negative 3 is what I should have for my answer. Sorry about that. So then what is negative 3? Negative 3 is the y value of my vertex. So let's write that down. This is the y value of the vertex. So I'm going to write that in my ordered pair, negative 3. So In my instructions, I said to convert from standard form to vertex form, you need A, and you need the vertex. Well, now you have everything that you need in order to write this in vertex form. The problem for some of us is we may not know what vertex form is. Well, I can solve that problem for you. There's vertex form. You're going to replace A with our A, which is 1. You're going to replace H with 4 and K with a -3. So let's start out by writing down what is the vertex form of a quadratic equation. Okay? Vertex form is f of x equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. You will plug in what you know. You know a is 1. X minus, what did you know that h was? H is your x coordinate, which is 4. Plug in 4. Why is there a minus there? Because there's a minus in the original function formula, so you have to keep a minus there. And then bring down plus a -3. I plugged in my k. Now let's be honest. We don't usually write a 1, and we don't write plus a negative. So let's make this look a little more mathematically professional. F of x, because this is saying the function of x, x minus 4 squared, and plus a negative is -3. This is the vertex form, I'm sorry, you couldn't see that, of the original. These two functions will give me the exact same graph, the exact same parabola, all the same points. You need to make sure that you have each step written down. At this point, if you need some time to write it down, pause this video so that you can write down every step, every word that I've written on this problem. Oops. Knocked down the mouse. All right, so let's look at number 2. Number 2 tells me that I need to convert this equation, 2x squared minus 16x plus 33 to vertex form. Here's what you could do. You could pause this video, you can try to do this yourself, and then you can check to see if you have the right answer. So this is standard form. I know it's standard form because I have x squared and x. I need to take it to a vertex form. That's the one with the parentheses. So I need A, and I need my vertex. A is the number in front of x squared. That's given to me. I look at my standard form equation, and I get that. That's 2. I need to find my vertex. To find the vertex, I've studied, and I've looked back at my blue foldable if I need to, and I know that x coordinate is -b over 2a. Well, what is b? B is the value in front of x. That's a -16. Put your parentheses before you try to plug in. -b over 2a. B is also negative. A is positive. So let's do the steps. Negative times a -16 is a positive 16. 2 times 2 is 4. And 16 divided by 4 is 4. So what did we just find? We just found the x-coordinate of the vertex. So I'm going to plug that there. That's my x-coordinate. I can't plot a point with only an x. I need a y. I know a function. I know x value. So I'm going to plug that in. This is going to tell me y equals 2. I'm going to put a parentheses everywhere that has an x. And what am I going to plug into that parentheses? What x equals? X equals 4. X equals 4. When I work this out, I typed it in my calculator, and I get 1. So that's my y-coordinate of my vertex. I have my A value, I have my vertex. I plug it into the vertex form. Because this starts with y equals, I start my new equation with y equals. I don't use y and then all of a sudden change it up and use f of x. I use what they start me with. So I'm going to have y equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. Plug in what I know. A is 2. X minus, because that's part of the formula, I can't change that. What may change it if it was a negative, and another negative is going to make a positive. Minus a negative is a positive. But in this case, my h, my x value, is 4. So this is h, this is k. And I put down plus 1. Is there anything else that I need to simplify to make this more mathematically professional? And the answer to that question is no. That is the vertex form of this standard quadratic function, that form. This will give you the exact same parabola on a graphing calculator, or if you were to graph it on a piece of graph paper. Now, example 3. Again, what you should do right now is you should pause this video and you should try this yourself, because if you practice by yourself and then watch how to do it correctly, you'll understand your mistakes if you made your mistakes. So let's do example 3. Again, I'm trying to convert from standard form to vertex form. I need A and I need the vertex. The vertex is an ordered pair, an H and a K. I look at my standard form. Here is A. All I see is a negative. So what number is that? That is negative 1. A is negative 1. I need to find the vertex. X equals negative b over 2a. Negative b. B is 2. A is negative 1. Negative times 2 is negative 2. 2 times a negative 1 is a negative 2. What is negative 2 divided by negative 2? It's a positive 1. That's the x coordinate. X, follow the path, equals 1. Now I need to know the y value. Because it's f of x, I stick with f of x. F of 1, negative 1 squared plus 2 times x, which is 1 plus 1. I work this out. I can type it in my calculator. That's fine. So I put 2. My vertex is 2. Now it's time for me to plug in. F of x equals, if you need to look back at your formula, you can. I need the a value first. That's negative 1. Parentheses, x minus h squared plus k. What is h? It's 1. What is k? It's 2. Now this is a correct answer. But what I want you to look at and see, very rarely do you see a negative 1. You're supposed to understand. It doesn't have to be there. So we're going to make this more mathematically professional. And instead of putting the 1, we will simply have a negative, parentheses, x minus 1 squared plus 2. This, of course you cannot see it again, I'm sorry, is the most mathematically professional answer. This is also the same. I don't want to see negative 1s multiplied. I want to just see a negative. Now, this is the end of standard to vertex. You'll have to watch this next video in order to see how to go from vertex to standard.